Hello everyone and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. I'll explore some of the key news alerts in the past 24 hours and also I'll tell you how the trillions of dollars in stimulus has actually failed. Yes, I said failed to reach America's poorest families, individuals who are off the grid, individuals who have been forgotten, and unfortunately individuals who continue to be forgotten as the government rolls out the largest rescue and recovery package ever seen in the history of the United States. For that matter, ever seen in the history of the world. Yes, the amount of money we are sending out proportionately compared to the rest of the world is larger than any other government anywhere else in the world has done. Welcome to this episode of Ignition Time, everyone. My name is Dr. Chhoda. Right here's a little bit of information about me. You learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Check it out. You'll understand my journey, how I was able to go from being homeless to living the American dream. Thank you so much for being a viewer and subscriber. If you're not a subscriber yet, just take a second of your time to click the like button and to subscribe so you get instant news alerts from us going forward. Let's start with an important announcement. President Biden has sanctioned Russia, has essentially laid out a bunch of sanctions against Russia, and he said they are a proportionate response to election interference and other actions taken by Russia, both seen and unseen. The president also said that now is the time to de-escalate. Let's take a look at this interesting segment where President Biden says, I was clear with President Putin that we could have gone further, we meaning our country, but I chose not to do so. I chose to be proportionate. A very interesting approach towards Russia compared to the prior administration. A very interesting and a very different approach. Let's roll the tape and hear from President Biden.
I was clear with President Putin that we could have gone further, but I chose not to do so. I chose to be proportionate. The United States is not looking to kick off a cycle of escalation and conflict with Russia. We want a stable, predictable relationship. If Russia continues to interfere with our democracy, I'm prepared to take further actions to respond.
Now, folks, if you've been following my channel, I already released another video talking about the yelling contest. Yes, the yelling contest between Jim Jordan, the Republican congressman from Ohio, and Dr. Anthony Fauci. Well, this is a new segment that just came to our attention. Dr. Anthony Fauci was asked by Jim Jordan to provide a specific date for the end of the pandemic mitigation measures. It's very hard to do that because this pandemic is shifting, it's evolving, it's surging in different states, and for that matter, it's causing other countries to lock down as we speak. You know, it's like asking, hey, when do you think I can make money in the stock market? Hey, what's the meaning of life? Hey, when's that TV I want going to go on sale? Tell me now. Give me a date now. I want Congressman Jim Jordan to know that there is a special place when we can have an exact date for the end of the pandemic, and that date is in a special place called La La Land. Let's check out this segment where Jim Jordan says 15 days to slow the spread turned into 1 year of lost liberty. Folks, if you've been following what's going on around the world, people around the world are still dying, and there are poor countries around the world that don't have access to the kind of vaccines we do. So I have to be honest with you, yes, lost liberty is a concern, but this in many ways is a political talking point. Folks, there are some problems that are real and there are some problems that are manufactured. In the end, politics is about timing, opportunity, it's about tribalism and perception. Again, what Jim Jordan says is 15 days to slow the spread turned into 1 year of lost liberty, and Dr. Fauci's response was, I don't look at this as a liberty thing, Congressman Jordan. I look at this as a public health thing.
When is the time? Well, in your written statement, you say, now is not the time to pull back on masking, physical distancing, and avoiding congregate settings. When is the time? When do Americans get their freedom back? Can you put your microphone on, please?
Sorry. When we get the level of infection in this country low enough that it is not a really high threat.
What is low enough? Give me a number. What, I mean, we had 15 days to slow the spread, turned into 1 year of lost liberty. What metrics, what measures, what has to happen before Americans get their freedoms back?
My message, Congressman Jordan, is to get as many people vaccinated as quickly as we possibly can to get the level of infection in this country low, that it is no longer a threat. That is when. And I believe when that happens, you will see.
What determines when?
I'm sorry.
What measure? I mean, are we just going to continue this forever, or when do we get to the point? What measure, what standard, what objective outcome do we have to reach before Americans get their liberty and freedoms back?
You know, you're indicating liberty and freedom. I look at it as a public health measure to prevent people from dying and going to the hospital.
You don't think Americans' liberties have been threatened the last year, Dr. Fauci? They've been assaulted. Their liberties have.
I don't look at this as a liberty thing, Congressman Jordan.
Well, that's
I look at
obvious.
this as a public health thing.
But
I disagree with you on that.
You think the Constitution is suspended during a virus, during a pandemic? It's certainly not.
This will end for sure when we get the level of infection very low. It is now at such a high level, there's a threat again of major surges.
Dr. Fauci, over the last year, Americans' First Amendment rights have been completely attacked.
Yeah, that happened. That's what we pay our lawmakers to do, I guess. Get into arguments with public health officials in the middle of a pandemic. Let me know whether you agree with Jim Jordan or whether you agree with Dr. Anthony Fauci. Let's take a look at this next segment where Jim Jordan asks Dr. Anthony Fauci, are we going to be here 2 years from now wearing masks? Folks, why pick a date 2 years from now? I mean, this question is meant to create anger and anguish. Oh my God, I don't want to be wearing a mask 2 years from now. Nobody wants to be wearing a mask 2 years from now. The right question should be, where can we be 3 months, 6 months down the road? Not to expect Dr. Anthony Fauci to say, are we going to be here 2 years from now wearing masks? It is a trick question. And Dr. Anthony Fauci responds, you're ranting again. Yep, that's what Dr. Anthony Fauci says. And Jim Jordan, that sets him off. I don't think he was happy with that at all. And also, please watch this video all the way through to the end, because I do also have to get to the story about help not reaching the poorest of our fellow Americans. Let's roll the tape and check out this bizarre exchange.
Give us your best guess then.
I just did.
No, you didn't. You didn't give us a time. When do you think this is going? Are we going to be here 2 years from now wearing masks?
No,
Jim Jordan asked Dr. Fauci the same question.
Well, let me answer. You're ranting again. Let me
I'm not ranting.
Yes, you are.
No, here's how it works, Dr. Fauci.
Right.
I get to ask you the questions. You're the highest paid official in the United States government. You've given us your advice on baseball, on dating apps, on cruise ships. You told us 0 masks, 1 mask, 2 masks, now back to 1 mask. I'm just asking you, when is it going to end? You can say I'm ranting. I'm actually asking the question that the citizens I get the privilege of representing, and my name actually goes on a ballot. I don't think your name's ever been on a ballot. My name goes on a ballot. The citizens I represent want to know the answer to when they can get their liberties back.
You know,
you can call that ranting. I actually call it standing up for the Constitution, which I take an oath to uphold, Dr. Fauci, every year, every term that I serve in this Congress representing the folks in the 4th District of Ohio. So it is not ranting. It is defending the First Amendment.
Badgering.
And we'd like an answer, or your best guess, since you got an answer for everything else.
Yep, that is as bizarre as it gets. In fact, here's a quick summary from the recount of the face-off, if you will, between the Republican congressman from Ohio, Jim Jordan, and Dr. Anthony Fauci. This is hard to watch, but this is the state of affairs in our country right now, as politicians tend to go head-to-head with health experts. It's just where we are. Let's roll the tape and check out the summary of this face-off.
Dying and going to the hospital.
You don't think Americans' liberties have been threatened the last year, Dr. Fauci?
Threat again of major surges.
Dr. Fauci, over the last year,
Congressman Jordan,
your ability to petition your government for a year, American citizens,
for vaccination.
Not last fall they couldn't.
You know,
can call that ranting. I actually call it standing up for the Constitution.
But
what does it have to be?
Sir.
You need to respect the chair and shut your mouth.
And folks, finally, one of the most important aspects of this economic recovery, which is also one of the most disturbing. Here's a new article on your screen from the Washington Post, off the grid. A flood of federal aid often fails to reach America's poorest families. Folks, the poorest of the poor who work cash jobs, who are essentially not reporting their income because they get cash in exchange for the amount of effort they put in. Also, because they make too little money to submit tax returns, are not on the grid as far as the IRS are concerned, and therefore, they are not able to get the stimulus checks. In addition, these individuals do not qualify for unemployment benefits. In fact, there have been millions of individuals who have not filed or have not received unemployment benefits, either because they don't know they qualify or because they simply found the process of getting unemployment benefits too arduous. A lot of people don't even have a computer, and it's not like you can go to the library and file for unemployment benefits, because in many cases, in many states, the libraries are closed. Folks, this is a real problem. I encourage you, if you're doing well, to try and help someone who's in a difficult situation, because the truth is millions of our fellow Americans are being left behind, whether we choose to accept that or not. That is the truth. Here's a direct quote from the article. And yet, for all its successes, the trillions in aid have often failed to reach the poorest Americans in places like the south end of Peoria. Because many in Chhoda's neighborhood, and you can actually click on the link in the description section below to see specific cases that have been highlighted in this article, because many in Chhoda's neighborhood have jobs that paid them in cash, and because they didn't report their income to the government, they were unable to qualify for unemployment insurance. Because they moved frequently, failed to file taxes, or owed fines for back child support or past criminal activity, they often didn't receive their full stimulus checks. In fact, many individuals didn't receive their stimulus checks at all. In addition, the latest stimulus check can be garnished by private debt collectors, because that protection for the third stimulus check, the $1,400 stimulus check, did not exist, unlike the first two stimulus checks, which were passed in a bipartisan way. The third stimulus check was passed by budget reconciliation, which means it can be garnished by private debt collectors who have a legal judgment to claim those funds from your bank account. So there are many problems for those who are the poorest amongst us, specifically with the third stimulus check of $1,400. And folks, some of the poorest amongst us have been left behind. Here's an image on your screen that shows Illinois residents that fell behind during the pandemic. This is one of the poorest areas in Illinois. In some areas, more than 1 in 20 residential electric accounts had their service disconnected in October 2020, according to utility data that was obtained. And you see this chart on your screen. This actually shows you those bright yellow areas that represents significant amount of disconnections as far as electric service was concerned. This shows you that there are some of us who've been impacted significantly, and by significantly I mean significantly worse than others. And folks, what makes this situation even harder is, even though there have been utility assistance programs, a lot of the poorest among the poor have a hard time accessing these programs because they don't know how to access these programs. The government has actually cut funding for social workers, which makes it harder for individuals to access the programs that they qualify for. This is the unfortunate reality of the situation, everyone. I urge you to click the link in the description section below and check out this entire article, because there are different case studies of individuals who have gone through a lot and access to resources as well. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications if you learn something new as far as the DC Comedy Hour is concerned. Yep, the DC Comedy Hour. Dr. Anthony Fauci versus Jim Jordan, the congressman from Ohio, and the trillions of dollars in stimulus. It's raining money. Check that out, everyone. Trillions of dollars in stimulus not getting to those who need it the most. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate you. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.